A whole lot of things.
I took you
There was a whole
fast.
lot of things. Now, the first thing that I hear is, are you saying that your understanding of what it means to be a top, it sounds like you're saying that that is toxic. Like tops are toxic and that's what tops are. And that's why I'm not one of those.
The stereotype that's attached to the position of top is toxic. Absolutely. 100%.
You really?
Yes, absolutely. The way in which our community attaches power and attaches stereotypes to people who are tops, who express their sexual desires as topping, is very toxic. And the reverse is true too. The way in which people see bottoms in the community is also toxic.
And so if a top is, as you said, like this comment says, a top can be a gentleman and sensitive and caring and soft. So if a top is all those things, what do you say you are then?
I don't say anything. I say I'm Torrian. However, community would say I'm a soft top.
A soft top?
Yes, that's
The fuck is that?
What you just named, what that comment says, a top that is the gentleman, sensitive, caring, and soft. And come on, Jay, really? This is foreign to you?
This is absolutely foreign to me because I don't fuck with tops.
Well, then there you go.
So to that end, people would probably say I'm a soft top, even though I claim versatile. I believe that a top can be any of those things. It's just I think in my head, when you start saying I don't do's, I don't touch here, and see, that's when you get boring. I'm like, I can't.
Well, I do absolutely. I have agency over my body, and therefore I do have boundaries to what I am willing to do with my body. About that.
Where is your boundary at?
I'm not being penetrated
physically.
I am not being penetrated, which is why I say I'm a top, because I'm not being penetrated.
Do you get your booty ate?
I love how this question always follows when I make that statement. Because, and I'll tell you why it's interesting to me, because I used to think the same way that, oh, if you're a top and you tell me you'll let me eat your ass, game over, right? Like it's going to happen, right? But the reality is I will only, and I think I was asked this question. So I was in the show last week commenting. And so a lot of the comments around being a full top, that was me. And so one of the persons asked the question, like, do I get my ass ate? And my response to that is, again, I'm all about boundaries. And so in a relationship, I've done it before, but it will never be a thing that I say, oh, do this. I want you to do this. I desire for you to do this. And only when my partner is very clear about my boundary that you doing this is not going to get you to penetrate me. It's just not the same way that me falling in love with you is not going to make me do this.
But you know that just as sure as you said, it's funny how that question always follows the I don't get penetrated. Every time I ask somebody, do you get your booty? Every time I ask someone who tops primarily, do you get your booty ate? They think it's assumed to be some kind of gateway to getting fucked. And really, people like me just like eating that. Like I eat booty for me. You might enjoy it or not, but I do it for me, especially if it tastes good.
Same. I agree with you. I think for me though, I'm not saying that I'm opposed to it. What I'm saying is that it will require a certain level of intimacy and understanding from me and my partner. But now let's be clear. That's only a relationship. Outside of a relationship, you're not doing it. If it's just a hookup, you're not doing it. It's not happening.
And see, that's the shit I'm talking about with tops. With the second y'all be like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm like, now because what comes up in my head is, well, where does your boundary? It's like if I approach sex and I'm assuming that you want some dick, I want some ass, or vice versa, or whatever, then I'm assuming everything else is fair game. But the second you start ticking off the things that we can do, I'm like, this is too much thinking.
But see, I think the operative word in that statement is assuming. I don't make assumptions. So I am absolutely about having the conversation about what each other likes, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And we create sexual pleasure around those things. I'm not going to assume, which is why up front, I ask those questions. I am very clear about that. I'm very clear about asking those questions because I believe in clarity. That's my best friend. Clarity is my best friend.
Okay. Do you suck dick?
In the same way. That goes the same way. Now, I often tell people that I have seniority because back when
seniority.
I have seniority.
Oh, you were hired into the gay. You were hired into gay before I was, so you got more seniority than me.
Because
your days off get approved before mine do.
Essentially. But no, I really say that jokingly, and it really is a joke for me, but it's a way to kind of make light of the fact that when I was a kid, I was molested, and a lot of the behavior that I did was he made me suck his dick. And so for me, I'm like, I'm not doing that now. I got seniority. What the fuck I look like? But the reality is the same. That also goes for the same thing with getting my ass ate in a relationship. I'm not sucking nobody's dick that's just a hookup. If we're in a relationship and you're like, hey, again, it will never be Torrian like, oh, I want to suck your dick. Like, that's not going to happen. But again, if I know that you're a person who have told me from the get-go that you're a verse or that you're a verse top or whatever, and that you like you like to get your dick sucked, and that for you is like a trade-off to not fucking me, then again, that's a conversation that we can have. I'm not opposed to it. That's not something I'm like hands off. But again, you will never hear me say, hey, baby, let me come, babe, come, let me suck your dick. Like, that would never happen. I would never do that. And not because there's anything wrong with doing that, just because that's not my thing. I don't derive pleasure from doing that. Now, eating ass, I do that for me, like you said, then you will happen to get pleased by it. But that really is something that I do for myself.
And I am for all the smoke. Like, gag on it a little bit until I have that one tear. Spread your cheeks open, sucked. Like, everything is on the table for me, which is why I claim verse, even though I don't bottom that often.
Yes, it better be sloppy and wet, dripping down your mouth.
Sloppy.
Like, all of it. Who wants nice print?
Oh my God.
That's childish.
I'm going to tell you this story about these two tops that I know when we come back. We'll just take a break.